And a good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Monday night edition of Wheel People. I'm your host, Ed Lamberton. For the next couple of hours, we'll be talking about the great sport of auto racing here in the great Northeast. Two legacy family drivers tonight, if you will. First up, we'll be talking with Justin Stone. Justin is a third-generation race car driver. His grandfather, Gardner Stone, probably known more for his tractor pulling escapades across the country. He won the national championships once or twice, or I don't know, quite a few times, I guess. But he was also a dirt racer at heart and raced over at Devil's Bowl and some of the tracks over in Vermont area. And of course, his father, Todd, was a accomplished dirt racer. Then he ran on the asphalt for quite a bit of his career. Was very successful. Won races under many different series. And so we'll talk to Justin a little bit. I know he was younger. I don't know if he ever saw his grandfather race. Probably did. You know, I think Justin's almost 30, so it's possible we could see Gardner, but I know that was a big deal for a couple of years at Albany, Saratoga, and Devil's Bowl when Todd and Gardner were both racing the Stone cars, the 1X, and whatever. But so Justin Stone will be up after his feature win on Friday night over at Albany, Saratoga. That's his second modified feature win over there. He won one last year, just about a year ago, actually. And so he's a little earlier this year, and hopefully he'll get another one or two before the season's out and get that elusive first one on. Boy, Doc, you're right at it this morning, or this afternoon, this evening, whatever it is. And our second guest would be second generation driver of the famous dirt car legend Bob McCready. Jordan McCready, his youngest son. Tim, of course, the oldest son, and Tim is went about the world racing and became a national series champion in both the World of Outlaws and in the Lucas Oil late model divisions, and he is currently still there 25 or so years later and still getting the job done. He's got 3 or 4 wins this season, and we'll get Tim on the show here again. I know he's heading for the late model guys are getting ready for the Dream at Eldora this coming week. 3 or 4 day event, paying some huge money on through every day. And Timmy's won this race a few years back. And so we'll talk to Jordan and about how it was growing up a little bit, possibly with a legend as a father and how much pressure that puts on him. But, Jordan was lucky enough to have Bob help him out when he first started racing a few moons back. And so he worked side by side with his dad in the pits and on the way. And so thanks, Nick. And of course, now on his own and doing pretty good. Actually, Jordan on a roll here. He had a second on Friday night at Can-Am Speedway, or Saturday and Saturday. Won at the opener for the 358 race down at Thunder Mountain, and then won again last night. Did back-to-back up at the Ridge. So his last 3 races was second, first, and first. So on a roll, to say the least. Anyhow, before we get going, got to see a lad who picking up the internet here and picking this up. And a few personal notes here, if you will. First off, I'm going to put a big congratulations and a happy birthday out to everyone's favorite EMT person. That'd be Terry Moore. Excuse me. Terry Mormon, of course, the head of the SEAL team, the TEAL safety team at Fonda and up at the Ridge, and wherever they get called in to help out from time to time. But Terry's been doing it for a long time and doing a great job with it, and we wish her to. Hope she had a happy birthday. Hope Leo took her out for a good meal or a big meal today, whatever. So happy birthday, Terry. You've helped a lot of racers when it wasn't a great time to be a racer, when you're on a stretcher or in the middle of a wrecked race car. But Terry's always one of the first ones there, and every track she's at is pretty lucky to have her there. Also, actually tied in with the TEAL team, safety EMTs, Bonnie Roos, who is a member of the TEAL suit team. She also works at the Lexington facility up in Gloversville, and she wanted me to pass along to all the drivers, who you know who you are, that showed up for the annual get together with the clients at Lexington. And there was a number of drivers and some of them traveling from quite a distance just to be there and give the clients a day out and get some autograph cards, and they always enjoy it, and it's always a great event. It's closed to the public, so don't anybody want to get anxious about seeing it next year, but it's for the Lexington people, and it works out real well. But Bonnie asked me at Fonda on Saturday if I would again thank all of, I know she did when we were there, thank all the racers for showing up and giving these clients something to look forward to, and it really makes you look at yourself and say how lucky we are when you see some of the situations that the other people are in. But congratulations to Bonnie and the whole crew up there, for it takes a certain sort of people to take care of those folks, and they do a great job. Okay, elsewise, let's see, what else have I got here? Last night, of course, with the rain in the area coming in and out, and I pulled the old man card and stayed home. I was heading for the Ridge, but I was one of those people that looked at the radar and said, this is not going to happen, but it did. And congratulations to Ray and the track crew and everybody else, and I'm sure Jordan will talk about that later on, but for getting the show in and getting it over early and beating the rain. So kudos out to the Ridge. Looking forward, definitely going to be getting up on the Ridge this coming Sunday night for the 358 Super Dirt Series event, which will bring in all the big shoes, Williamson, Mahaney, whoever is following the 358th, of course, Willix, Lance, who has already picked up a win at the Ridge and always travels the series, will definitely represent himself very well, I'm sure, and Jordan as well, but and the locals. But they're, I can't remember last year what it was, I think they had 35 cars or whatever, so looking forward to the 358 Dirt Series event at the Ridge this coming Sunday. That's the big event of the weekend, I guess, if you want to put that on your calendar. And, there was a lot of comments made over the internet last night about Utica. They had no no choice to end the event with 6 or 7 laps down, so there'll be 54, 55 laps left in the Richie Evans remembered 61 lap event. And thanks, Brett. And of course, everybody that wasn't there complained because they canceled, but there wasn't much they could do about it anyway. But the people over there, I understand. But I think that the Utica Rome staff and management has done more than a lot of racetracks probably would do. They are going to allow everyone that was there on yesterday evening to come and watch the remainder of the Big Block feature event, 55, 56 laps, whichever it is. And for free. So if you bought a ticket, you can come back. And the thing that probably upsets the people is as much they paid the money. Also, anyone can go for free. That first race, the gates will be open. And if you didn't go last night, you can go and catch that and then turn around. They're going to clear the grandstands after the remaining of the Big Block race and let everybody back in with the admission, of course, for the Alex Friesen Memorial Race, which is coming up just on 14, so it's just 2 weeks away, 2 Sundays away. And unfortunately for the the fans that did pay, I mean, you got to see all the heat races, and it's been a standing deal forever, as long as I've been going over 50 years. The show gets half through the heats, 50% of the events, whatever. The rain checks are no good. It's always been. So read them and weep. You should know better. That's what it's going to be. But it'll be a hell of a night for people that didn't go this week. You're going to get 2 Big Block feature events for the price of one. Unfortunately, you that did go and did pay, you lost the sprints, the Sportsman and the Pro Stocks, I think was there. All the classes that were there. What they did was take all the purse money for those other classes and divide it up equally, so everybody got something. So hopefully it probably worked out better for some of the guys that were finishing towards the end of the field, is probably getting more than what they would have got if the race had run, but it seems like a fair deal. Hopefully that'll be enough to pay for their pit passes and their fuel to get there, whatever. But I think they did the right thing. But that's just me. Anyhow, so that'll be coming up in a couple of weeks in Utica. It's going to be a big week. Hopefully next week it'll be the week before, I believe. I want to try to make sure I can get Eric Mack to come down to the studio here and go over the festivities coming up on the 13th of June at Fonda Speedway. This is the official celebration of the 75th anniversary of Fonda Speedway. It's going to be huge, as they used to say in the days of Billy Fusillo. Already a great list of people that are confirmed and said they're going to be there. I just added Brett Hearn to that list. Danny Johnson will be coming, and Danny will be racing the Tim Gibson number 27 that he races at Outlaws. Won two races, actually won this past week at Outlaw with it. So the doctor will be in the house, and Brett. Too bad Brett wouldn't be in the house, because we could have a little feud match between Danny and the doctor, and you old folks know what I'm talking about. They had quite the to-do back in the day, years of racing together at Orange County, and then that famous mud throwing incident at Fonda a few years back. But anyhow, they will be there, and Dr. Dick Berggren has stated that he will come. We've got our fingers crossed. Pretty sure. I know uh, Lou Boyd is not in the greatest health, but I hope Lou will be able to make the trip. Certainly one of the famous people that raced at Fonda Speedway, Lou Boyd and Dr. Dick, and there'll be a long, long list. I know Eric said that he has invited over 200 of past racers and promoters and officials and whatever. It's going to be a grand night at Fonda on June 13th. So put that in your calendar. If you haven't been to Fonda this year or in a while, um, that will be the night to come. It's going to be big. So a couple of big events coming up, certainly here in the area in the next couple of weeks. June weather getting with us, and we're going to be right at it. All right, we can do this. All right, let's get right to our first guest. I have some other notes and quibbles here about what went on over the past weekend, but if we have time at the end of the show, we'll do that. But I want to get to our guest because that's what you're here for, is not to listen to me yammer all night. Let's see here. There we go. Yammer all night. Oh, nope. I'm watching myself. That's cool. Okay. All right, let's go this way and that way and this way.
Hello.
Good evening, Justin. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Ed?
I'm doing great. First, before let's get this right away, congratulations on your now second modified feature win at Albany Saratoga. And I'm having to go back to look through my past notes here, and it's actually almost, well, it's not two, but almost to the week, but just about a year ago that you won the first one. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So it's, yeah, I think it was the middle of June. So you're 2 weeks ahead of time. So that's good. So, with that said, as I said, congratulations. A bunch of stuff we want to talk about tonight, and I know we're getting a lot over the past couple of seasons now with the new internet deal. New people popping in here, in and out all the time, so they may have not caught our chats with you in the past. So just to get a little background, we call this Wheel People, so we like to know what people do. Obviously, you, well, according to your dad, you know, I mean, he's probably a little biased, but he says you're the best salesman they have at G Stone Motors.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. We got a pretty good crew. We got some good sales guys and a sales lady that I shouldn't say that. We have 3 sales ladies, counting the 2 at the other store as well, and they all do a great job. So I'm really thankful to have such good teams, and without them, probably wouldn't be able to do what we love to go do is go racing. So.
Yeah, and before I drop the whole what you do for a living deal, I told you at the racetrack Friday night, and I forgot to finish it all. But you guys put an ad up. I believe it was, yeah, it was for G Stone, whatever, which is kind of neat. I thought. I don't know if other dealerships do that or not, but they had a whole collage of all you salesmen and managers or whatever of the craziest things that you ever took in on trade. And let's being you've got this all rehearsed anyway. What was the craziest thing that you took in on trade?
It's been pretty crazy. Some of the different things over the years that like my grandfather or just anybody at the dealership's taken in trade. But me personally, there was one deal that I did. There's a gentleman from here in Vermont, and he had a New Holland tractor with a finish mower. He had 2 dirt bikes that had been converted with the snow kits on them, so they're snow bikes. And what else? A shit spreader, actually.
Okay.
And a what else? And a trailer, actually. I took all that stuff in trade, and traded even for a new Bronco. So that was a
Okay.
cool deal.
All right. Yeah.
You know, so I've taken in we've taken in livestock. We've taken in, there's an elk farm actually over in New York that we took an elk in trade from. We've taken in, pigs, cows, chickens, airplanes. There's a guy that flew his airplane into Middlebury Airport, and we picked him up, and he drove home in his new truck, and we took the airplane in trade.
Okay.
So we've had all sorts of different things over the years. And it's just made for some cool stories for one, but also just to try to set us apart from the rest and have a little niche in the market.
All right. So I got to keep on with this because, okay, so how the hell do you get rid of that stuff? Now, I know your grandfather has a store. It's Gardner's, what is that?
Trading Post.
Gardner's Trading Post. And it's exactly what what we were just talking about.
So you'd be surprised. He's got all sorts of different things down there.
He can, so I don't know if he moved all your stuff or not, but the livestock, I mean, some of that you could probably, well, there's no PETA people out there.
The livestock stuff, we got a local commission sales.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Cattle
Yep.
and different livestock and stuff. So that's pretty close. The airplanes, we just, it's just in this world, I guess it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yep.
In some cases. So, so it definitely opens up the doors to a bunch of different things and a bunch of different people and different markets of things. And and like my grandfather always says, nothing happens in this world without a sale. So it doesn't matter what it is. If you stop and think about it, like everything that we do, there's a sale at some point or some sort of agreement involved in everything we do.
Right. And as you said on Friday night, the bottom line is with that whole conglomeration of things you took in from that one fellow, you actually made money, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, so, you got to. It's not free to open up the doors in the morning to do
right.
business. So,
yeah,
you got a bunch of between my grandfather's store, my aunt's store, G-Stone Commercial, Gardner's Trading Post, and Stone Motors, G-Stone Motors, and our Spray and Protect and our recon facility in the race shop. We employ probably close to 100 people. So
wow. Wow. Yeah, and that's excuse me. Yes, and that's well, I got started with your grandfather. I don't know what his original deal was, but he was a wheeler and dealer apparently.
He always has been. He's been willing to take a chance on anything. So.
Yep. And I suppose, I'm guessing anyway, you might have taken a race car or two in.
Oh yeah, we've taken in go-karts and modifieds and late models and all sorts of different things. Yeah, and a lot of classic cars and stuff like that. So
yeah, and I know you. I could name them off, but I'm not going to show off. But I know of at least two handfuls of folks in our area here that have purchased most of them trucks to haul their race car haulers with.
yeah, for sure.
A lot of trucks are your big. I think your grandfather's major dealer to start with, right? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, if there's a market and there's a niche to be had, I'm sure my grandfather's been in it at some point.
Yep. Yep. And you still, I don't know, you sell motorhomes and all that stuff for trade. Well, I did sell.
We take them in trade. Yeah, we take campers in trade, motorhomes in trade. But I know that for like our commercial division for a while, they were, had stacker trailers that they take in trade with motorhomes and different toters and different things like that. So
yep.
Yeah, there's a market for anything.
Yes, there is. Well, I say, if you want a deal, and this will be the last of your free ad, head over to G-Stone Motors or Gardner's Trading Post, or I mean, the whole compound, whatever. You can go over and spend a day, and you might even buy a vehicle. What the heck? But so anyhow, let's back up a little bit now. So how many years have you been on the Super Dirt Series as a regular? 4 years?
I want to say this is my third year
Okay, all right.
in the series, I believe so.
Okay. I was thinking 3 or 4, but
Yeah,
okay.
something like that. It might be, I don't know, something along those lines.
Yeah, and been oh so close several different times, and it's definitely going to happen. Now, every time you go back to tracks that you haven't been to, um, I know there's always a first time. The first year on a series, of course,
Yeah.
the majority of them were new. I mean, obviously, you were raced here in the area, most of the local tracks around the Capital District here and whatever.
Yep.
But are you at the point now where you kind of got a setup, or these cars are just so finicky that what worked last night won't work tonight? So I
Yeah,
don't.
exactly. It's tough because there's certain things that I do at Malta and mess around with at Malta that may not work at other places, and there's other certain tracks that for the most part we kind of roll in with with an idea of what we want to start with. It's fairly our baseline deal, and adjust as it goes. But the hard part is, with this racing is if you're not fast out of the box, because a lot of these other guys have had some more experience and some more seat time and some more laps around these different places and stuff, and they kind of know what it's going to do, and that's a huge advantage. And but if you can unload and be fast, in practice, and make a small adjustment if need be for time trials and have a good time trial, and then hopefully that sets up your night and making it through the heat race and with hopes of making a redraw is huge, because that there's those guys don't mess up much at all. Trust me.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to minimize the mistakes.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. It's like in any business, I guess. Experience, I guess, is the
Yeah,
name of the
for
game.
sure.
Um, but you feel as though you got a little. Well, obviously you got more experience now. So when you go to
Yeah,
these,
and I think we got a better, each week we're refining our baseline just to try to get a little bit better out of the box, and when we unload, and it's a constant learning curve, though. They have different things that come out to try and do different, and it may, like you said, one week you feel like you're figured something out, and you go back, and then it doesn't work as well as it did the week before. So it's a constant. I mean, you could probably ask anybody in the pits. We're always trying something. You know what I mean? Trying something a little different or whatever. So the tracks, never. It's not. I know asphalt racing. Talking with my dad, he says, either you have like a hot track or you have a cold track. There's no real variance of surface. I guess
yeah,
where in dirt you could show up and it could be a sloppy mess to start with, and you end the night with dry slick. So it's there's a lot to be said for adjusting your car right and making the right decisions, and sometimes lots of times it's a guess. So hopefully you guess right.
yeah. Well, before I forget, you just brought up the fact of your dad on asphalt. Um, you have run some asphalt races yourself. What is it? I mean, this is a dumb question because I know the answer, I think, but uh, why you chose the dirt route rather than the asphalt route? Obviously, you got to travel a little farther, if you want to go to Stafford or Thompson or whatever those other ones, I guess. But I mean, there's really, other than
Well,
Devil's
I
Bolt.
guess
Go ahead.
yeah, I guess the simple answer to that for me would be I enjoy it more, personally.
Okay.
There's some people that say that asphalt racing's the way to go. Everybody's open, has their own opinion and their own things that they like. I grew up going to both,
Yes.
and I and actually, when I graduated college, Dad was like, "Hey, you interested in dirt racing? Because we got a dirt modified that we could get and put a crate motor in and start there." And I did, and I got hooked, and that's just what I've been doing. And Dad flip flop back and forth between dirt and asphalt quite a bit.
Yep.
And I think he had success in both, and but I think like he's he hasn't raced in a little while, but we've been trying to get him back into a car. But I don't know if I think he enjoys the management side of things. I guess
Yes.
he likes to tell me what I'm doing wrong and praise me when I'm doing something right. So
Yeah, well, that was the answer I was hoping for because we need young guys like you and in the dirt end of it as far as that part goes. But I kind of thought, as I say, you were fortunate enough to have the option. You could
very fortunate. Yeah.
you could have done either
And,
or.
and I'm fortunate, because if we decided, hey, let's go asphalt racing, some of the guys that work for me and help me and so on and so forth, they may not like it as much, but they probably would still support it and go asphalt racing, But I don't see that happening anytime soon, to be honest.
Well,
So
good
we're
for
pretty
us.
invested into the dirt. So
Yeah. Speaking of, I mean, what do we got? 5 cars or so now. We got two big
yeah,
block.
we have 2 small blocks and 4 big blocks
Yep.
cars.
Yep.
So, and one crate car kicking around. So if Dad wants to get back into it, it's, one that we have.
Okay. Yeah, we'll keep him in the crate so the high powered stuff. He's yeah, but no, but yeah. So I'm gonna ask you because I think I'm just a question I'm gonna have to ask all these guys this year just for fun because it was so uh, fun to get the answer out of Pete Britton last week when we had Peter on about.
He's always entertaining.
Yes, he is. He's a great guy and a great racer as well. But and God bless anybody who's trying to make a living doing this because but but I asked him, it's like I said, I've been watching races longer as long as your grandfather's been racing. That's how old I am. But anyway, running both big and small blocks in Albany, Saratoga. We're lucky enough to see you guys do that 6-7 times a year at least at one place. But also go to Airborne and whatever. More and more talk as it always is. It's always been too expensive, but it seems like things are really getting crazy now. But anyway, the difference between a big and a small block. Peter Britton said last week on the show that if they all went to 358s and got rid of the big blocks, he would probably be looking for another occupation. That's how solid he is with the big blocks. So I'm going to ask you the same thing. I'm going to ask. Go ahead.
I was going to say they're 2 totally different animals.
Yep.
And honestly, that's why, be honest, I don't know why they allow the small blocks to run with the big blocks at certain tracks because they are a different animal. And some places I roll into, I would prefer to run my small block rather than a big block just because they're that much different.
Yep.
And they're totally different. I mean, I do try to do some similar stuff with my small block that I do with my big block, and it just, it's not the same. So they're definitely different. I enjoy racing both, but I would say the 358 compared to the big block would be like my step from crate to 358, and then the step from 358 to big block is about the same difference. You're still racing with really talented people, but it's just the next the next step of the way that I looked at it was I don't know how to describe it, but each step that you go up, it's those guys make less and less mistakes, and it's more you got to be really, really on it. So it's not to take away from anybody whatsoever because it's a tough gig in any class you're in.
Oh yeah, but all right, and I'm not. So you would not retire if the big blocks went away.
No, probably not. I guess might be different if I did it for a living.
Yes. Yes.
But I probably wouldn't. It would probably draw me closer to home. if the big blocks were all done.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
But there's nothing quite like stepping on a big block. That's for sure.
Yep. Yep. And that's what everybody says. And that's the deal. It's, it's the weight difference is the more and more I talk to everybody, that seems to
The
be,
weight and power difference
yeah.
is the biggest deal.
Yep. And like I say, there's some folks that I've spoken to that, mostly car owners, that would like to see it go to the 358 because the big blocks are so hard on the car itself.
And the motors are expensive. And
Well, the motors are more expensive. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, you have it all. I mean, you have them both, a couple of each, whatever. I mean, the purses are literally half for the 358s, pretty much.
Yeah.
Does it cost? And this is the other interesting question, and I've asked several guys this year about it. But it's costing you a little bit more than half to run the 358. Am I right or wrong? So I mean, the purse.
Yeah, I mean, you're still buying tires, you're still buying fuel, you're still buying body panels,
Yep.
you're still buying cars, but I think the rebuilds and just the raw cost of a new one compared. I mean, everything's getting. Somebody was telling me what they paid for a new crate motor the other day, and I remember when I first started, they were like, I don't know, close to, I don't know, they were not that expensive, that's for sure. But I know, like, I don't know. I think it's the big blocks are such a staple. I don't know how they'd be able to get rid of them.
Okay, no, that's absolutely fair. And I mean, that's the Northeast was built on big blocks, and that's why I guess we're in an island here.
I'll tell you one thing though. We had a UMP modified, dirt modified.
That's correct. Yes, you did.
For 2 years.
Yeah, and you won with the one, so
I did. And,
Yep.
But I tell you what, those it was a 420 small block, and that thing had some power. I think for being on little 8-inch tires, and that thing went really well.
Yeah, so those aren't, excuse me, any. I mean, a lot of people in this area, because they tried them and it just didn't go for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't the ones we see now that run as a subclass to the late models, usually around the country.
Yeah.
The rest of the world calls them modifieds, but
we're the Northeast.
We're the Northeast or the upright or whatever the hell you want to call it.
It was kind of funny because we had a lethal chassis which David Stremme built.
Yep.
And he got it all built, dropped the motor in for us, and had it ready to go. And we picked it up and vinyled it and brought it down to Florida and raced it. And he was a lot of help, and he got us going pretty good. And I just was trying to get comfortable with it, but it was those cars are definitely different. Definitely different than anything I'd ever driven before.
Okay, so there's nothing you could not. I mean, nothing. I mean, very.
They even asked me. They when I was at Volusia when we were racing big blocks afterwards, like, oh, you've had some seat time and you've been able to get around this track, so, have quite a few laps before the big blocks. Does that give you an advantage? And I'm like, not really. Like maybe to know what the surface is gonna do, maybe, but. They're just so
right.
They were just so different and drove so differently. They're very on throttle cars. If you weren't on the throttle, you were spinning out or you were unloading the left rear, and it was getting tight and going to shoot you at the wall.
Well,
so it was just way different.
Aren't our cars? We call them our cars, our Northeast mods, with the suspension you have on them now. A little bit similar to that now compared to when they had, the rods,
bars.
The bar cars. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I started, my first car was actually a Troyer. And it was a bar car. And, then after that we got a Bicknell, and that's kind of what I've been with since, but it's, they're not even, I wouldn't compare them like close at all. Personally.
Okay. So you were saying, wow, I didn't know they were up to 420s now. So they're not still the same motors that the late models are running though.
No, they run like 480s and some, I don't know, 460 or I don't know, something like that, something along those lines. They're a little
Right.
bit bigger, they have a little bit more power. But yeah, no, I don't think you could, you'd want any more of that, of those little tires.
No, I would. Yeah, yeah. I didn't realize that they were because it seems like back in the day. Again, I'm going back the old times when the IMC they tried to well, they ran at Fonda for 3 years, 4 years, something like that. Um, that they were more like a crate motor
Yeah.
situation. They were
Yeah.
They were claimers. They started out as what 2,000, 3,000. I don't even know 1,000, whatever it was. But back in the day when that's what a motor cost. But now you'd have to have so yeah. Well, you would know. I mean, don't have to give us figures, but was how expensive was that other modified compared to well, say compared to a 358? Are they fairly close?
I would say it's comparable. Yeah.
Okay, really?
I'd say it's
Yep.
comparable. The chassis itself, I think, was probably somewhat comparable,
Mm-hmm.
and the motor was probably comparable to a 358.
Okay. Yep.
But it's yeah, it was fun while it lasted. We at the end of when we got done with it, there's a guy right there at the track after we got out off the track that wanted to buy it, and
Cool.
he came back to our shop the next morning, and we had the panels off it because I got a little wrecked up, and we were starting to clean everything up, and they rolled in, and we put it back together. They put it on the trailer, handed us a check, and there you go.
That's
And
it.
he's
Yeah.
used it a couple times at Volusia, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was a one and done. You're done with that then, pretty much.
Yeah, I think
Think.
for now, unless yeah. So, but yeah,
Okay.
I think with hopes that we just wanted to it's kind of our our vacation, I guess you
Right.
could say, is go to Florida for a couple weeks and enjoy our time and go racing. And so we're now that they're starting to race a little bit more of the big block modified stuff down in Florida, different track, a couple different tracks, then hopefully we're planning on, maybe venturing out to those places instead of just staying at Volusia the whole time.
Cool. Maybe we'll see over at. I believe the George and the group is coming back to Alltech next year.
Yeah, I
So
think that's what they're saying. So yeah, I know that's going to be another challenge too. That place they say is like no other. So
yeah, it's it's bizarre. It really is.
yeah,
They don't. I don't think they own a grader. If they have one, they haven't used it in 30 years. But
yeah,
it just
racing down the swamp.
yep. It just stays. All they do is water, run it in, water, run it in, and you got it's either like glass slippery or hammered down, don't lift, and it's amazing, and it changes every well. It's getting so that's the way a lot of the tracks are around up here now. They're and I get it, cutting back on diesel fuel and everything else, doing less track prep, and you being a businessman, you get it, you know what's going on, and so with that, let's get it. And that's everybody I've been asking from Malta so far. Obviously, you won on Friday night. The track was again maybe a little bit different. I mean, it's hard. We all knew that it wasn't going to be the same with Lyle gone. We all knew that. Nobody was going to spend the time that he did, and the the people that have that are in charge of running it or taking over now. Every guy I've talked to, of course, I always talk to the winner, so they're always pretty satisfied with the track. But anyhow, they said the track is definitely different. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, for sure.
But so have you had to go back to the drawing board about every week to try to figure out how to get a hold of it? Obviously, Friday night you had it figured out because you were you were hauling the mail, as they say.
The track has been nice. It's been smooth. It's been for the most part, like you saw on Friday night. I mean, Jack Lehner was fast on the bottom. I need to figure out how to get faster on the bottom. But they were pretty even. The top towards the end of the race was really wearing off or burning off, and it was getting pretty thin up top, and it was it was a couple times I'd get too tight in or too free off, and I could then see Jack below me. And so it was pretty. I would say it was pretty even for the most part. But it's like you said, each week the track's just I'd say it slicks off quicker than it did before. But I still think it makes for good racing. I know when you can see these guys that start 15th or 16th, 17th, 18th, and they're driving to a top 5, they're still passing. There's still stuff. They have something figured out, so it's not a follow the leader place. It's not a take rubber place. It's not a maybe a one lane dominant place. It does make for pretty good racing, I think. So
Well, as a fan, you and Jack put on a very entertaining show, to say the least. On I don't know how many laps it was, but it was a lot
it was
that you ran side by side.
yeah.
Him way on the bottom and you way on the top, and I got. I mean, it seems like they're certainly at Albany Saratoga, and I've watched you in the series races as well. You seem to be a top guy. If the top is there, that's where you would like to be. Am I right or wrong on that?
I would say.
I mean, I've seen you be strong on the bottom too, but it seems like if you got your druthers, if you got a.
I guess it's kind of a go where people aren't and where my car feels the best.
Right.
Because if early in the race I was running the bottom and got to second, passed some cars and got to second, and then I moved up and it seemed like the faster lane at the time, and just kind of the guys were saying when I came back in, they're like, oh, that top was getting pretty thin, and Jack was coming on the bottom, and I said, well, I saw him down there, but I said I hadn't run the bottom for 3/4 or more of the race, so I was just sticking to my guns and live or die by the top, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's like I say, I've been watching racing for a long time, and you were, it's that I don't. I'm terrible with names and songs and whatever, but you were definitely living on the edge for about 30 of the 35 laps, I think, at least. But
it was pretty good early, but I'm sure other people were hammering the top too, and it doesn't take long, and then it starts getting higher and higher and higher, and starts peeling up a little bit and building a little dirty cushion, and it was just it gets closer and closer to the wall. So each lap you're just trying to minimize your mistakes and hit your mark.
Well, it looked like in 1 and 2, I usually sit in a pit grandstand, so I can see that real well. I can't see 3 and 4 all that great to see what's happening down there, but it looked like right in the middle of 1 and 2, and at the apex of the turn there, the top, it kind of looked like it went right over the lip, and there was another lip burn up there, because a couple times I said, oh, well, the oh shit moment, I think, was coming.
Yeah, I thought for sure a couple times I was going off the backstretch.
Yeah, but you, like I say, you did it, and I have to tell you, I did talk to Jack Saturday night at Fonda, and I was busting a little bit, and I said, how come you either let me the last lap or the lap before you just didn't move up on the backstretch there? And I mean, you had such a run going, I think you would have been able to swap them and go underneath them anyway. But he said, I really thought, he said, I was going to win. He says, I really thought that I was so good down there that eventually, I was getting there. And he said, I never really thought about having to do that because, he's been a multi for a long time too. And he knows that top can grab you. And you ran, well, at least 30 laps up there and never missed a beat. Obviously, there was a couple little whoops, but
well, trust me, I've been off every part of the
yes, you're right.
Piece of that wall. So,
well, you and everybody else. Yes. But No, it almost looks like especially the last couple of weeks that the fast groove on it. It's weird because, like I say, it's different than it ever was. It used to work your way to the top throughout the night, but now the heat races, you guys are running the top on the
Yeah,
first on the first race of the night. So,
yep.
and it's been well, I say as a fan, it's been fun to watch, but I know it's got to be a little a little tense for.
Yeah, it's just different, you know what I mean? And there's nothing bad about it, you know. It's just different, and you gotta adapt to it and figure it out.
Now,
And
obviously,
it's been tough to figure it out.
right? Yeah.
So
Well, I say week in and week out, like, Jack's been pretty good there every week. Well,
yeah,
he broke a couple of weeks, but
yeah, he's had his woes like I have. I had some issues with overheating issues and different things that we think we got figured out. So, and then some, just some bad luck, and it's just it takes a good team behind you and have everything ready to go. And I'm very thankful and fortunate for that. And takes all that and some luck. Luck, lady luck's is a real thing. So it's nice to have that on your side. It's every now and then too.
oh yeah, yeah, because I say probably week in and week out this year anyway, and for the last 4 or 5 years, um, Matt DiLorenzo's probably had the best car weekend
Oh
and
yeah,
weekend,
he's fast.
and he went from 13th or 14th to third,
Yeah,
following you guys, and he was there at the end.
yeah, he was. Yeah,
But and he's probably the best on the bottom.
yeah.
But he can run the top. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about that either. But
There's so many there's so many different drivers at that track that could win any week at any time. This makes it so competitive, and that's why you got to be on your game, and you gotta be fast, and you got to be good, and you can't make mistakes because those guys will capitalize.
now, like you said, the track has been smooth. So I mean, that's because I asked somebody, a few people. Obviously, you're never going to satisfy all you guys. Somebody's always going to complain about something. But anyway, oh geez, you can't pass. I said, look at you got guys in the top five come from 13, 14, 15. I mean,
Exactly.
there ain't too many other tracks that I can go down and run down through it because now with my pass, it shows you how many cars everybody passed.
Yep.
So, in some tracks, nobody passes anybody. It's just, but other places like Albany, Saratoga. Well, I guess it came. I asked one old timer the other night something about the track being different and whatever. He says, "I don't think you can screw this place up." And I think maybe that's probably the closest thing I could do because it's always been great race. Well, as they call it, the great race place, but it's easy on tires and it's easy on cars. So
Yep.
you guys that spend the money, that's worth a lot right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you get away with buying or 2 weeks on the tires? I know you guys don't have to, and I know the guys that always want to win are always going to put new rubbers, right rears and stuff. Of course,
To be honest with you, I hate new tires.
okay.
I'll be the first one to say it. I hate new tires.
Well, you and Matt Shepard are on the same page then, because that Matt's
New tires. If I could buy them heat cycled, I would.
okay. All right,
If I
fair.
could buy them heat cycled, we've even gone to the point of like figuring out if how we can get them, like maybe have somebody else run them or do whatever just for a practice or just to burn some in or rent a track or something like that to be able to go burn a bunch of them in. But you never really know what you need and what you want for sizes and different things, so it's tough. So it's
Yep.
Different tracks require different compounds and different size. That's the different stagger and different things. So that's the other challenge.
Now and I'm going to let you go because we're running over here. Jordan's probably waiting, but you've been, like I say, 3 years now on the series, and have some changed crew members from time to time. You're feeling pretty confident with the crew you have now, and you have what one
You know,
one or two full time guys now.
Yep, I do. I have Lance Maxton and Mike McGinn full time for me, and I got a lot of other guys that help. Two Erics, Kyle, Wade. Wade's son, Rob's son comes along. Mark Bates. I have my dad. It's just. I have the support of, my wife and my son, and
Oh, that's right too.
yeah,
Congratulations! You became a dad.
thank you.
That's right.
And it's just it's nice. It's nice to have people around you that believe in you and that have the same common goal and are want to win just as bad as I do. And we have our ups and downs and we have our woes, but it's nice to have the people behind you that want to see you do good and believe in you. So
Yeah, I mean to be totally honest with you, that confidence has really shown in the last, well, certainly this year, all this year, and probably from the middle on last year, whenever it was, it doesn't matter. But it looked like you felt more at ease and know what you were doing. I guess if that's a
Yeah,
big.
and that's huge. Confidence is a huge thing.
Oh yeah.
But it's you can have all the confidence in the world, but if you don't have the people there supporting you behind you and help make it happen week in and week out, you don't really have anything. So it's nice. It's
Right.
I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, and I'm going to let you go, but again, it was nice to see you had your. I'm terrible, but it's pretty small yet. It's a boy, right? It's a son.
Yes,
You have a son.
right.
Yes. Okay.
My son, his name's Blaine, and he's
Blaine.
He's gonna be 9 months old here in a couple days.
Wow. Well, when I was looking for pictures to put up of you, I grabbed that one that he's in Victory Lane. What is it, Victory Lane?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. He's a.
oh, there he
big.
is. Yep.
He's crawling. He just started crawling a couple days ago. So that was cool, and yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure your wife thinks that's real cool because now those days of just saying, "Oh, yeah." But so now, again, final question: your wife, obviously, she must have been there that night because he was there. That was up. Was that in Canada? No. I don't know. I can't.
No,
I can't read that. I can't.
I don't know where that one was.
It was a dirt race because they have the dirt vision microphone in your face. So
Oh yeah.
whatever. But does she normally travel? I mean, did she before the baby and all that stuff?
Yeah, no, she goes with me when she can, and
Yep.
if it's a longer weekend or something like that, they'll tag along and come along with us. But and she tries to make it to Malta when she can, and but with him being young, it's tough to keep his sleep schedule going. So
Yeah.
we
You're right.
try to make sure so he's not up. Maybe he gets up every hour and a half to 2 hours in the night anyway, so we don't get much sleep. But
No, right. Yes.
that's all right.
Yes. Well, hopefully you can sleep. So I am terrible with it, but I just keep going. There's just so many things that people like to know about you guys that they don't get a chance to. But now I lost it. Maybe that's a good thing. But anyway, you're gonna quite a few of our followers here putting congratulations to you, and
Well, I appreciate it.
They-
It's the congratulations and different things that I got for over the past couple days has been really nice, and I appreciate all the support of everybody. It's really nice.
yeah. So yeah, there's several. Everybody says your dad and granddad were always fast. So I don't know. I guess he assumes you are too. So that's what. But
Thank you.
the whole Stone family are a class act. So I mean, we all know that, and that's a great thing because your dad and your grandfather both had a lot of respect in the pits and with the fans and everything else, and you're carrying that tradition right along very well. And well, you know what? Let's see, they're racing those things at like 3 and 4 years old, the juice box, and you'll have
Yeah,
Blaine out
we'll get
there.
We'll get him into something.
All right. Anyway, next time it's going to happen this year. You win a Super Dirt Series race, and we're going to have you on again.
All right. Well, I appreciate it very much. Thank you for having me on, and it's always good talking with you.
Yep. All right. I'll let you get back to. Well, Blaine's probably in bed by now, but anyway.
Yeah, he's sleeping now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
But thank you very much. I really
No
appreciate
problem.
it, and
Yeah.
I will see you Friday.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. Yes,
Thank you, sir.
ice cream on Friday.
Yes, no, the boys are excited about
Yeah,
that.
okay. All right, good night.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah,
Take
you
care.
too. Yep, bye.
Thanks, man.
All right, moving right along here.
Hello?
Hello, Jordan.
Hey, what's going on, Ed?
Well, as usual, I was like, your dad has probably told you that, but I never know when to shut up here. So we ran a little long with Justin Stone on his win over at Albany Saratoga on Friday. So
Oh, no worries at all. I just didn't know if my phone was
no.
operating normally or
Yeah.
not. Sometimes it's pretty spotty.
Oh,
so.
okay. All right. Anyway, congratulations. Hey, man, you're on the roll. A second and two firsts the last three times out. So not too shabby.
Not too shabby, yeah. It's not too often where we get pretty fortunate 3 nights in a row. So we definitely will take it and try again the next time we go. You know what I mean? Hopefully we can keep it going.
So that is that Thunder Mountain going to be a? They only run the 358s every once in a while. Is that or is that going to be?
So they this year a few years ago they used to run them weekly, and I think they this year are going to a bi-weekly type of deal. And
Okay.
It's rained out so much for them that was their first
Right.
race with them. So I think we're going to try to hit most of them, if not all. It just depends a lot on what we have going on up here. Like we try to hit a lot of big block shows that make sense for us to hit, or specials. And so Saturdays obviously are pretty jam packed with a lot of races that you could go to. So
Yep.
yeah, it was just a good fit for that week, and I think we're going to be going back for sure. I just don't know exactly the rest of our schedule for there. I think we're planning on it tentatively though.
Okay, so you don't have the big calendar on the wall like most people have.
Well, we do, but
Yeah.
it seems like it changes a lot. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like
right.
that calendar ends up being like 3 pages, crossed out. And
Right,
one added.
yeah.
It's just racing up here is so fluid that it's really hard to make like concrete plans unless you're like dead set on something. So we'll see. I mean, I think that originally like we were going to follow all the 358 tour stuff, and then we didn't go to Lebanon, so it opened up some other stuff that we could do, like the Thunder Mountain deal. And so we'll probably do that for the rest of the year. And I mean, we're still going to try to hit a lot of big block shows obviously too that we can. So I'm not sure how many that'll be, but yeah, sort of
All
a
right.
flexible schedule.
Okay, well, that's one of the things I got to ask you about. What about the big block? Was you kind of answered that a little bit. Now, I got to ask you a question because the last time I remember, and it probably was the last time I talked to you was at Oswego this past October, and we were talking about the big block, and you said, "Yeah," I said, "This we've had this for a while, and it's a good motor." He says, "But you said, but I can't." Tune this thing down enough. I just can't. Are you feeling more comfortable with it yet? Or
I mean, it's a super good motor. Like
Yep.
Billy the Kid does our big block stuff, and it's the only problem is that it's some tracks is too good. So like that's a type of motor where if we're at like a Canandaigua or even a Oswego with any moisture at all, it's like super good. But it's probably you could unplug a couple spark plug wires and it would still be more motor than you would need for most of the time at Oswego. So it's tough to know exactly what we got to do to make that as good as others down there. I mean, we were all right with it. Just
Yeah.
some tracks it's really good at. Like when we go to Canandaigua, I feel like we're super competitive, and any big like Can-Am, if it has any moisture there, or any big track like that, and you'd think Oswego would be something that it would really shine at. It's just it's a little bit on the heavier side because it's an older one,
Okay. Yep.
So we got that when I first started moving up to like the big blocks with Pat. That was, I can't remember the guy who owned it first, but it was built like the best of the best, probably. Oh man, maybe 10 years ago now.
Oh,
or
wow.
11 or
Okay.
12. So
Yep.
yeah, and it's a little bit. I mean, it's still a phenomenal motor, so I'm not saying that it.
No.
You know,
Yep.
I'm definitely to blame if we're not setting fast time with it. I'll say that.
Yeah.
So it's been great, and I love running it. Like that motor and just the big blocks in general are just a lot of fun to race, and all the guys that follow the tour, basically, racing with them is sort of easier than most sometimes, because you can just tell what they're going to do before they do it lots of times, and
Yep.
it's just sort of a better type of race, and it's just unfortunate we can't do it too much because it's just cost wise.
Okay, so that's okay. Dumb question number one for tonight is your dad won, I believe, I'm probably wrong, but 99 features at Canandaigua.
Yep, I think that's right. And then I wasn't there, but I do remember Timmy winning when he came back there and won the late model race. He said that counted as his 100th. So
Okay,
I don't
right.
know if they counted that technically in the
Right.
books or whatever, but I think he did.
Well, they just leave the first name off. McCready won 100 races there, anyways.
Yeah, that's
well,
right.
well, Tim probably won a couple other than that too when he
A
was
couple
sponsored.
others, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, he gets around there pretty good.
Yeah. So that's my dumb question. Why not? Why don't you go to Canandaigua on Saturdays then? Because you have the big block. You said it would be. Again, is it distance wise, or I don't know?
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit of everything this
Okay.
year. Like, well, we have been traveling like semi regularly, like long distances, which is, usually we go maybe 1 or 2 nights. We'll travel and then we'll hit one close to home if we're running 3 nights a week.
Yep.
And that was sort of where the Thunder Mountain stuff came up, because it was bi-weekly. So it was like, you could get regrouped if you wrecked a car. You could like take a Saturday,
Gotcha.
get everything ready again, and
Yep.
that was the main deal. I mean, I'd love to run, and Pat did too. Like we talked about Canandaigua, and I think we both are on the same page that it would have been a great place to race, and I like the track a lot. And
Yep.
it's just one of those deals where probably it would have. If it wouldn't have burnt everybody down mid-year, it definitely would have burnt everybody down by the end of the year.
I got you.
Sure.
I got you. Yep. Yep. Just being out and around, and so I got the question of the year for me has been, especially with it, everybody. Most seems like everybody's got both. A 358, which is your main deal right now, running around with that, and the big block. It kind of started a couple weeks ago talking with Peter Britton, and we got talking about, and you've been around long enough too with your dad and everything else. When about every 10 years, we got to get rid of the big blocks. They're too expensive. We can't do this. We got to go back to 358 and relive it 3 or 4 times anyway. Peter Britton says at his point, of course, he's doing it for a living, but he said if they drop the big blocks, I would probably look for another way to make a living. That's how much
that
he
is definitely, yeah. Like he's just in love. I mean, I love running that thing. It's just it really stinks that we can't race it more, and it's nobody's fault. It's just it's a lot of combinations. One of them is Pat was heavily invested in 358 stuff.
Okay.
And
Yep.
when I first started racing for him, he had 2 cars and 2 motors, and they were 358s. And he had no plans of really getting a big block. And then we just slowly, we got a small big block from Billy the Kid, like one that you'd put in for like a weed sport or whatever, just to see if we could do it. And then we were like a little competitive with it. And, I could definitely see if you went down the path where you're running like a big block weekly or following the tour long term, and then they were talking about getting rid of it. It's like, that's sort of an iconic, that's our class. Like, the
Right, yeah,
358s and
right.
all that, or there's a reason that they're not the headliners when the big blocks are there, so, and it's not to say that the guys aren't good drivers or anything like that. It's just this area was built on big blocks. So, yeah, I see it both ways, because everything's expensive too. Like, if you're going to get a competitive 358, and they're not cheap. So
Nope.
it's tough. I don't know the answer with getting rid of anything. I think, I don't know. It seems like the big block fields are still okay for the most part. It's just the costs have gone up for everything, and it's hard to have guys try to raise the purse when it looks like the purses should be higher, but then it doesn't look like there's as many fans as there
Right.
should be to justify it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's tough.
We all got to figure the streaming thing out, whether or not
Yeah.
that is the streaming organizations are being fair to the racers and the race promoters. Basically, it seems like there's a lot of people are opting out. Well, I'm getting old, so I looked at the radar and I said, "There's," because I was going to come up and watch you guys last night, but I said, "There's no way." There's this green thing coming through, and you can watch it on TV. So
Yep.
that's what happens. But I also you need to have people in the stands. Just for you guys, I know a couple of weeks ago, Fonda had basically a free night, dollar night, and everything was paid for. Utica had one last week, and the place was packed. And
Yep.
all the racers said, "Wow, it just the racing we're still racing people, but the idea of having that many eyes on you, it was just it makes it so much more enjoyable, I guess, for you racers as well."
Yeah, and that's and all the guys talk about it too. Like when the Big Black show up at Cornwall, for example, or Drummondville, they put a spectacle on, and you go there, and
Yep.
it's literally like you can't see an empty seat anywhere,
Right.
And the fans are loving it. Like they are excited, and I don't know how to get that more consistently, but. Like Ray does a phenomenal job at Glenridge. I don't know anyone that works any harder at a track to make it successful. And, I look in the stands and I'm like, man, like for this small block show coming up, I think he'll have a packed house because it seems like he gets that every year.
Yep.
But, I wish he had more people in the seats like weekly because he deserves it. And, they would definitely liven everything up. I mean, he does a great job with everything. And everyone seems like they're trying really hard, all the promoters. It doesn't seem like anyone's really, just dropping the ball.
Oh no! It's just the nature of the beast, I guess, everywhere. For
Yep. We went to Thunder Mountain on Saturday, and it was almost full. Like the crowd was packed, and everybody was, everybody was there, and it was like a regular show. That as far as I know, they didn't have any special like sprint cars weren't there or anything like that.
Right.
It was just a weekly show, and they're doing super good.
Yep. Yeah, well, I say a lot of the tracks. I mean, Fonda, for whatever the weather didn't look all that great for Saturday. They had a great crowd. I mean, the 50-50 girls are in another league by themselves anyway. But they were over almost. That was it for this week. They had two. Nobody claimed last week. Anyway, it was over $7,000 for the 2 weeks. But,
Dang, that's awesome.
But they had three. Yeah. Actually, so the fans that win at Fonda are making more money than you guys are. So that's
fair.
Right. Right. But anyhow, getting back to this 358 thing. So you said you missed the Lebanon Valley deal, so you're not gonna. Well, in fact, I just looked at that 358 thing this morning, I think, and so you haven't been to two shows, so you're not following that 358 the series race.
Yeah, not purposefully. Anyways, like we'll go to like I looked at it. I think the majority of them will be there anyway, and we'll see. As far as there was talk about maybe a Charlotte thing where but it's so far in the future, and like a lot of stuff can change before. That's why it's like our schedule is so flexible, just because it's like we have a lot of equipment up to a point, like everybody. So get to the end of the year and we've heard everything, then we're certainly not going to be able to go to Charlotte, so it's like that's where, and that falls into like the big block stuff too. Like Pat really enjoys going to Dirt Week and a lot of the big block specials. And if we were to run Canandaigua weekly, the big blocks are, very durable for the most part. Knock on wood, ours has been bulletproof from Billy. The worst we've ever had to do is change a rocker before it, let loose, and that was just easy to get to catch. And other than that, we've had just great luck with it, but laps pile up, and That's yeah. The 358 stuff right now. We're gonna hit a lot of those shows also, but definitely gonna pick and choose some that are probably a little bit too far, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I know
type of deal.
your dad always was, obviously made a pretty good living at it, but always was a big block guy. He said that's
Yeah.
in the long run. He said that till the day he passed, that in the long run, the big block was cheapest power that you can get.
and the racing too. Like there's a reason that a lot of the tracks are the sizes that they are. Like Can-Am,
Right.
big block track for a long time,
Yep.
and I love the people at Can-Am, and the racing it can be super good there, and it has been so far this year. They've done a good job, but like these tracks, some of them are just so big that it needs a big block at it, really, to put a good enough show on too. Like
Right.
starting 20th in a 358 at a big track like that in a weekly show, like you got to pull a miracle out to go to the front, whereas like a big block, you do like 3 or 4 super good laps where no one knows where the groove is, and you might be passing 10 cars or whatever in
Right.
2 or 3 laps. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree that the big block stuff, I don't think that it really should be going, down the road or anything like that.
No.
I think they just got to look at ways to, open it up a little bit so other people can try to play on the same page. I don't know. I don't really, even like the 358s and the Sportsman at a lot of tracks, if they have like single digit numbers, you could take weight off a Sportsman and make it semi-competitive. It ain't going to race like a 358, but you know what I mean? Like there's ways
Yep.
that you could sort of get around the car count issue. I feel like it's one of those deals where you almost have to pick what you want, basically.
Yeah. Well, now, I mean, there's guys that say there's too much of a choice. Well, some of what you were just talking about with your Billy Big Block there. Now it's more a big track motor. So now guys have to have 2 or 3 different motor combinations to be competitive, and I don't know how they're ever going to equal that. They've tried with weight, they've tried with everything else, and I don't know if there's a way to fix that.
I don't know if there's a way either, and especially now our cars they've gone to a point with how good they are.
Yes.
That it's a little advantage. Like say your motor's 40 pounds heavier or whatever. Like my motor that I've got in my 358 at our shop, like, in Watertown, that thing's outdated really. Like it's an Iron Eagle block. So the thing weighs like, I don't know, 50 pounds more than like what a normal 358 block would weigh now, or something ridiculous. It's like a lot.
Yeah.
And, okay, you could make the car go around the track fairly good, and you can, compromise and get it. But it's sometimes when you're trying to, travel and stuff like that, you don't know why something isn't working very good. And, you'll never know unless you had the other stuff to try.
Gotcha.
Either,
Yep.
So it's tough. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still big blocks. And like, I think that they're the top of the line with our racing. And I mean, Glenn Donnelly and everybody built what we've got from it for a reason. Like if everybody wanted to run 358s, they had the opportunity back then to make those the top dog, and they did for a little while, here or there. But I don't know. I think that we have a nice little niche with our cars. It's just trying to make it all make sense is the thing.
Right. Well, I've also heard old timers like me, whatever, talk about that's the worst thing that Glenn Donnelly ever did was tell guys like your dad and the Johnsons and all that they could make a living doing this, and so they all did that, but
and they did it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like it works. It definitely works both ways because, like, if it wasn't lucrative enough, you wouldn't have the Shepherds and you wouldn't have
Right.
Friesen doing it. Like they would have already been gone. They would
Yep.
have been gone, and you wouldn't have seen what they could do. And
Yep.
that's where like I definitely hear because it like makes some guys that do it as like a hobby feel like they don't have a chance, and
Yeah.
it's not fair. And I mean, life ain't fair in general. Like it
True.
is what it
Yeah.
is. Like
Well, pretty
you do
much,
the best with
yeah.
what you got.
I was going to say,
Deal.
like you just mentioned earlier, today's cars are so good, so into the track, and I think that's why we see the track promoters doing what they're doing. They're trying to make these tracks almost like a blacktop track. So because these cars just get into the racetrack so much that, and everybody's got good stuff. Very few, certainly there's maybe out of the 20 cars that are, or 25 cars that show up every week, there's maybe 3 or 4 guys that don't have what everybody else has. It's, it's certainly just, and it's so hard to, when the whole field is less than a second apart, it's hard to pass. So that takes away a little bit from the show, from from the fans' point of it. But again, how are you going to fix that? It just
yeah. I mean, it's been a problem now and it keeps getting worse because everybody keeps getting their stuff.
Right.
Like racers aren't going to just settle for being 2 or 3 tenths off of whoever it would be that won that night. They're gonna think if it's a shock, they're going to go out and buy 10 of them and try them, and tires are going to cut 7 of them up differently, and then complain that it costs money to go racing when they chunked out 7 of them in 7 nights. Like and it's just racing, because why else would you do it if you're not trying to win? So
right.
The only thing that you could probably do is just unstick them, the cars in general. Like I remember before the coil stuff took off, Dad was like, he was just going around telling everybody, like, that would listen, if they wanted to save everybody money, just make sure that the right rear tires were aired up to 40 or something.
Right.
Put a 500 on the right rear and air it to 40, dude. Like, watch the guys drive around sideways, and it'd actually probably be a better show.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yep.
But, so far that hasn't happened.
No, because like you said, majority, there may be 1 or 2 guys. Of course, now it's so damn expensive. If you don't want to win, you might not better play, because it just
and
but
it does stink for a lot of guys that, like, local guys that used to, like, sort of have one track where they'd be super good at, and they'd be able to win, like, series races at. They still can, and you see it, from time and again, but for the most part now, like, when the big block guys roll into town, they are heavily favored, no matter where they are now. You know?
Oh yeah. It just seems that. With that said, and it worked out perfect timing to have you on tonight, because, well, arguably, I guess the biggest race at the Ridge is coming up this weekend. Obviously, you won the last 2, and Lance won the other one. You 2 guys have been the cream of the crop up there for the last couple of seasons, track champions, both of you. But if you depend, like you said, it all happens like it does every place now. If you don't time well, your night's pretty much over. But do you feel as though the way, because the track is, you never know what Mother Nature's going to do. And like I say, thank God for Ray and those guys to get that show in last night. I never, if I actually thought that he was going to do or get that in, I would have made this trip up the hill. But I never thought that was ever going to happen, because all I was seeing was green all over the place. But however, thank God for him. And the track crew did a great job. You guys got the whole thing in. But if you're starting, let's say, all works out, you're going to start 9th next Saturday. You got 40 laps. Is it 40? 50 laps?
I think it's 50.
50 laps. Realistic, you think you can get the job done?
Well, I mean, I'll say it has been, like, pretty racy this year so far.
Yeah.
Compared to, like, usually, well, when we first started for this show, like, I don't know, it was 3 years ago they first had it.
Yep.
It was, I want to say it was later, maybe in middle of June or something.
Yeah, this seems like pretty early here, but
pretty early. And I think that might play into the favor of making, guys be able to move around on the track a lot more. And
okay.
I think that you could probably, as it's the last 2-3 races, I think after you get like 10 laps in, I think it'll be a really good race. Whether or not that you'll be able to come from like super far back and win it,
right?
I don't know, but because 50 laps at Glen Ridge, that goes by pretty quick when it's like it's a very hectic 50 laps, and that's over.
You're running under
a lot of tracks 25 lappers.
Yeah, you're running under 13 seconds. So
don't give you much time, but we'll see. Ray's been giving us like a really good. Was it 3 races we've had? All 3 have been great. So at least, I'm biased because we were going good, but,
Yep.
As far as tire wear and all that, so far, so good with that. And, yeah, I think that it'll be a good show regardless, this Sunday. Hopefully they get lucky with the weather and they can get it in.
Yeah, well, that's the main. Well, it's always is the main thing, but I'm sure. Yeah, like you said, he needs a great crowd, and I'm sure he's going to get it because this always draws the best. Usually, I know a couple of my buddies that live a little farther away. They don't go to the Ridge on a regular basis, but they definitely always want to make this race. It's this coming up, but excuse me, I got froggy here or something. What I was going to say. Oh, I was looking at your Victory Lane photo here. That's what I got up on the screen here now, showing everybody. And I see you had a lot of facial hair last year, but now you're growing the other hair. So you're trying to you're getting close to a Jesus look there. I don't know what it is.
Bad for him then.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still not hot enough out. Like I usually have like a buzz cut in the summer, and because it gets so hot, and it's just I haven't felt like I needed. Well, also,
well, it's been cold. It's been cold.
It's been cold. Yeah, like I'm a little chilly out. I'm outside right now, and I feel like it's getting too cold to be out here.
Yeah.
To be honest, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what I'm doing with that. But
yeah. Well, there's something about you, McCready's. I mean, your dad never did, but I don't like your brother there. He was blonde and he was all this other stuff.
Well, I might have to dye my hair anyways. I noticed that my hair is brown and my facial hair is black, so I don't know what happened there.
Okay.
The guys up at Mohawk make sure to let me know that every time.
Sure. Yes.
So.
But I do see there's, some older faces there, but you also have some young guys. So the crew you have now with Pat, was that some of his people and your people, or it's?
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. We've had basically a mix since the start, and we sort of rotate. Guys will come and go, and everyone that helps out now have been around for a little while, anyways, for the most part, and just maybe not made it to all of them, hit one a year or two a year, or whatever. And it takes a lot of people to be racing as much as we do, and obviously I can't thank the crew guys enough for all the work and all the driving, and a lot of guys come from far away to go to the shop, and the shop's not really that central. It's sort of like 30 minutes outside of Watertown too, so
okay.
Everyone's got to sort of go there to do the work, so everyone's traveling, and it's all appreciated. And obviously when things are going good, everyone's having a good time, but they're still there when I'm wrecking cars and not running good and all that, so I definitely appreciate them all.
So I guess, and I probably asked you this before, but I say we have over the last couple of years now getting a lot of new people just popping in and out here all the time, so they might have heard before, but so the 28 number is Pat's, correct?
Yep, that's been his number since he sort of, I don't even know when they first adopted that, when he had the street stock, basically, when they were running Canandaigua a long time ago with it.
Yep, but it's, well, I'm sure, maybe someday we'll talk him into, I mean, you started with the 9, your dad's number, and now Timmy's running it, so it's still up.
That's cool. Yeah, it's cool to see Timmy, and when you anytime I see the car on the track, it's just cool to see it. So,
it is.
Yeah,
yep.
I mean, we talked about maybe doing something possibly for like a tribute deal or whatever at Dirt Week, and I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll see. We have no plans as of right this second, but I mean, it definitely was discussed, and I don't know. We'll see what we can come up with.
Yep. But bottom line is, I mean, this is what you've been doing for now. Like I said, this is, we've called the show Wheel People for almost 50 years now, and as we started out, we wanted to get to know the drivers behind the wheels and what they did in Aurora. So this is your full-time vocation right now, is just racing cars.
Yep. racing cars and
I-
attempting to fix them after. Yeah.
Are you helping a lot of these guys like Pete and Shepard and some of these other guys? Well, Shep's pretty much a one man band all the way through, but he's still doing stuff for other people. Are you helping other building bodies or doing shocks or anything for other folks? No?
Not right now. I mean,
No?
in the
Okay.
winter I'll do whatever.
Okay.
I'll try to help out guys, and then, as far as I don't have like enough. I used to build bodies for my
Okay.
own stuff, and
Yep.
like with a hand shears and
Yep. Yep.
then I don't know if I want to be doing like right now. They got that stuff down pat pretty
Yeah,
good.
right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they need me
Yep.
sitting there trying to crank out like 10 bodies a winter type of deal.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha.
But
Yep.
no, like we're just, and we'll see how far this goes and all that. But I got a pretty good deal going with Pat and Tammy Flack, and
Great.
just fortunate enough that they let me race enough to make it feasible. And so far so good this year. Hopefully we can keep it rolling, and I won't have to get a job delivering pizzas shortly or anything like that for the
Well,
for the
no.
rest of this summer, I hope.
Well, not you don't have to go that far because I know, your dad told me years ago that you were the smart one. You
Look how that turned out.
no, that was before you started racing. He
Oh,
said,
he changed his mind.
yes, yeah. he said no, Jordan. He went to because you do have a degree. If am I wrong or right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a degree in physics, believe it or not.
There you go. So yes,
So yeah, and that was like sort of like a double-edged deal. Like I wanted to learn, obviously, and I got into the racing, and then I was more interested into like how to get the cars good and like what was really going on and all that. And so went up to school and learned a lot of cool stuff that could transfer to something else if it had to. And yeah, so I mean, we'll be all right either way. For now, we'll keep racing until it doesn't make any sense. So
right. So there are, and I say some of the best racers have engineering degrees. I know, Matt Shepard is, everybody knows, the Matt got a engineering degree, and there's I know there's somebody else too that did that, but bottom line, I guess we keep going circling around this. You're doing it and making a living at it, but the 358 just fits into your program more than say running a 2 or 3 night a week big block deal.
yeah, that's what it boils down to. And we talked about, me and Pat discussed like the big block stuff versus the 358 stuff, and to make it make sense for him, he would have to basically sell the 358 stuff, like all of it,
Okay.
and get the big blocks, and
Yep.
then we would go big block racing. And so and obviously that'd be a huge change for all that, but it would have been like almost pick one or the other. And since we're sort of centrally located with the 358 stuff, I mean, you could go to look like we just ran 3 nights in a row with it.
Yep.
Not super far away, but far enough away. And it just made the most sense to stay with what we already had going and try to use the big block to hit shows. Like Mohawk's going to have a bunch of, I think 2 or 3 big block shows up there.
Mm-hmm.
Like specials, and Can-Am, obviously, we're just going to have some super dirt car races, and we'll go to, I think, the Justin Harris Memorial, or the Gerald Harris Memorial we'll go to again. And a lot of those races we probably would be like semi-lapped out by then, because our big block hadn't gotten refreshed. It's already sitting at like 500 laps, 600 laps on it. So,
Okay. Yep.
there's a little bit of everything, tied into the decision for this year. So, yeah, but I think we're definitely going to get it. We were planning on already running it twice, and both of them rained out.
Yeah.
So.
But, people on, well, it depends on which side of the fence I guess they're on, say that the 358s, maybe I said this before, I lost my train of thought here, but are easier on cars, easier on, transmissions and da-da-da-da. And the other side of the coin says, well, yeah, but we're turning the 358s a higher RPM, so the rebuilds come sooner.
Yeah.
You go along with that, or is it,
I mean, you got less of a so like the 358 engine is a lot of times the thing that makes the car like not be how do I put this? So like you're not really tapping the car out all the time with a 358, but you usually are tapping the motor out. You know what I
okay?
mean?
Yes.
So
Okay.
you're always usually if it's a bigger track, like the motor is giving 100% like almost all night long. And so if you're doing that, then yeah, a lot of times the maintenance and the watching the valves and
Yep.
like
Yep.
we do a ton of maintenance on all of Pat's stuff anyways, but like especially the valve train on the 358, it just gets beat up so hard
Hmm.
that that's the thing that usually ends up needing attention, and that's why a lot of engine builders want it back so soon. Like
Yep.
some guys want it back at like 1,000, which is early in my opinion, obviously, if you have to pay the bill.
Yeah. Right.
But like some say up to 2,000. It just depends on a lot of the wear and tear on what you're doing. But yeah, it's the big block. I mean, after hot laps, usually you're half throttle.
Yeah. Right.
Basically, like
Yeah. Right.
there. That's I remember Thunder Mountain. We went with our car last year, and I went full throttle for 2 laps and hot laps, and then like 3/4 throttle and time trials, and then the rest of the night I don't think I ever went over half throttle. I think I was like quarter throttle or something the whole feature.
Right.
So I mean, do you really got to worry about the valve train on that? The thing's idling basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you're basically saying pretty much what your dad did. The big block, yes, definitely more expensive to buy, but year after year, unless, like you said, technology comes along, and like you said, the big blocks now are lighter than the ones you have. But
Yeah.
some guys are turning them things at 8,500. So whatever. But
That is true. Yeah, I guess I'm talking from like a semi probably ignorant.
no, no, no,
Because
no.
yeah, I have heard that too. Like
Right.
and you can sort of hear it when you're at the track.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Scream by at 8,600, and you're like, whoa,
Well, yeah.
never heard a big block sound like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, different levels for all that too.
Yep.
Like, is it cost effective to run a big block long term? More probably if you're running 1 or 2 nights a week and you knew what you had and your work turning at 8,600.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably like cheaper to do that. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I said I've talked to several guys here, and like, well, just this weekend about even the small blocks, dropping them down. I know Billy. We've had Billy on the show a couple of times, Billy the Kid, and he doesn't like his stuff to move much more than 6,500, the big blocks and whatever. He said that's all you need if it's done right.
Yeah.
But yeah, because this one fellow I was talking to had called him and said, I'm going to bring it down, and we've been running 85, and this was a big block. And Billy said, no. No, he said if it comes back down here, it's not going to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean everybody has their own deal, but that's if it was easy, everybody'd do it, I guess. That's for sure.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean that's the other thing. Like our cars, sort of, as far as like the parts go, they're getting more and more niche. Like and I'm not gonna say like they're cookie cutter, but they're definitely not what they were, when they were modifieds and like people were taking drive shafts out of cars and parking lots and sticking them in the cars.
Yep.
Like, you're not really doing that no more. So, I guess that everything is sort of getting more honed and more high performance and more specialized. And so that's, of course, going to be more money.
Yep. But I did have a guy tell me this week that, I guess it was last week on the show, actually, he said that, a lot of guys are complaining that the new cars that are in the car, or in the track so much that the wear and tear on the drivetrain and all this other stuff. He says, well, I may be weird, but I'm not going to agree with that. 'Cause I think, they've come out with newer rear ends, stronger rear ends. Yes, again, more expensive, but bigger bearings. And he said, I haven't found on his big block, and Christ, now I can't remember who it was, but said he's had less drive lane problems in the last year and a half since well, Winters came out with new stuff, and it's all more bulletproof, I guess, because originally these cars with so much movement going on were having all kinds of driveline issues and whatever. And Strange come up with new. Well, I'm talking to the choir, but do you feel that like you just said, their new stuff keeps coming along, more race oriented? But in the long run, I guess it may save you money, even though it's more to buy to start with.
I mean, yeah, it's what, and it goes back to the same thing. I mean, that's typically life in general. Like if you buy a really nice tool, it's probably gonna last longer than. I mean, I buy a lot of stuff from Harbor Freight, but we don't
Right.
Harbor Freight, so
Yeah.
like sometimes.
Yeah, but you can take it back if it breaks. That's a nice.
You can take it back. They know us by our first name.
Right.
But yeah, it's like when I first started racing with my car, like Pierre helped us out or whatever, like those drive shafts now, you put those in any, whether it's a 358 or, a big block, they would spit them out in a heartbeat because they like the cast steel yokes. And now, yeah, like you said, Strange came out with different forged caps and this and that and made them all pretty well bulletproof to where, I mean, now it's used to have to really be careful putting U-joints in. And, like I would only ever have either me or Dad do it basically. And it's not because like we didn't have guys that could do it, but the consequence of doing it wrong was a bad thing, obviously
right.
drive shaft flying out and hitting you in the leg.
Yeah.
So it was either me or him, and now, like, you can pretty much trust whoever to do it if they tighten the bolts.
Yeah, right.
Strange made it so easy, sort of, that it's almost bulletproof to just even install, and the difference is it's probably 3 times more money.
Yeah.
Or 4.
Yep. Well,
so,
like I said,
it's better, but is it, it's more money? I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to justify a lot of it, but I would say a lot of safety stuff like that is definitely better now,
Right. Well, I say the cost of fuel, both for the hauler and the race cars and tires, has been a killer here the last 2 years. I had this year certainly is more with the price of fuel going up. I mean, there's no way that you guys can cut corners or do anything different because it's X amount of miles from which place you go. You can't buy a truck that's got a 6-cylinder in it, so you get better mileage because it ain't going to haul the load. So
I mean, everybody could go back to the open haulers, the open trailers, and save a little bit on gas money.
It's funny, yes.
All their equipment.
Yeah. Well, your dad was one of the ones that was one of the last ones to get an enclosed hauler, and he said, and it was funny you mentioned that because I was talking to a guy and it doesn't. Well, he's won 100 pro stock championships down at Fonda over the years, Kenny Gates, and he was I saw him at it was a thing for the Lexington, which is disabled adults thing last week. Anyway, he had his car on an open trailer, which I forgot he even had actually, but he said the gas mile, he got 5 more miles a gallon towing that open trailer than he did the enclosed. I figured it would be something. I didn't realize it'd be that big a difference just because of the weight of the enclosed and also the air that you're moving with it. But
oh yeah, I'm sure
it is.
You stretch that out over a year, that could add up. But it's also, I mean, we did the open trailer stuff for a long time too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, and I loved it. Like I love the open trailer stuff, but man, it's when it's raining,
when you get a night like last night, yes, yeah, right, yes. yeah. Well, we get spoiled, that's for sure. But yeah, that would be a way to save a little bit on that hauling, I guess, if everybody went back to open trailers. But well, thanks. I'm sorry we were late. I got one more question, and that's definitely the last one. If we could, I might have asked you this before in the past, but we'll just keep it simple to one. What is one of the best things that your dad ever told you about racing, other than don't get involved. But
How'd you know what I was gonna say?
yeah,
Well, I mean, probably, and this is like sort of perfect because, like like everyone, we just had a really good weekend, and we won the
Yep.
weekend before, and whoop-de-doo, and it's awesome. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but
right.
like he was actually more impressed with, like how Alan Johnson basically would be able to mentally handle everything that like racing would throw at him, essentially with like the same attitude, whether he just won like a 200 lapper
Yep.
or just got wrecked, like he was pretty even keel on the whole deal. And he said that he wished that he could do that more often, because he would take a lot of a lot of the negativity from a bad night would get, driving him crazy and,
Yep.
really messing him up. And, so I don't know, like, I don't know if that's like the one thing that I would pick out of everything, because there was just so much, but that just is relevant, I guess, to like this weekend. Everything was great, and we had a lot of fortunate stuff that happened. So we had some good finishes and, all that, but it definitely could have gone, one little thing different, and then that stuff wouldn't have happened. So just try to take it race by race, and,
So you try not to beat yourself up too much then, if you don't
I
have.
try not to. I mean, I still do the same. Yeah, like if we were struggling hit or miss, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I just can't do this, or this anymore. And then you get like the car to work or whatever, and you get the thing hooked up better, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I guess we're good still. Or
Yep.
like it's definitely a lot of. It's a roller coaster with this stuff, and now it feels like it's a little bit more so, just because it's so hard to consistently go from one track to the other and still have the same speed. I mean, it seems like the guys that can do that now keep getting like narrower and narrower, and with torsion bars and stuff, it was almost, I wouldn't say it was easy, but it was
Easier.
It was a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like we could just unload the Can-Am stuff and run it wherever, at a
Yep.
tiny little track, and just throw the car around and be good. And now it's not so easy.
Right. Well, that's
So-
yeah. Well, like I say, we basically got less than a second difference between the whole field, so it's crazy.
It's pretty wild, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know, to just reiterate one with your dad, because I know your dad said we had him on the show, quite a few times over the years, but he said I think it was that year that he won 40. What the hell did he win? 45 or 46 races there.
46, something like that.
He said, he said that was pretty good. He said, but he said I raced 98 times that year. So he said that meant I was pissed off the other 53. So,
Yep. And then and he's dead serious. He was.
well, yeah.
Yep. And that's so So I'm trying my best not to be super down when we have a bad night, and not
Right.
be like insanely,
Right.
one way or the other. But it's tough. This stuff is very humbling, no matter who you are.
Oh yeah.
It's,
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, that's what I'm an old guy, and I don't have a nickel invested. All I ever do is just paid the admissions to go to the races. But it's racing is, well, I guess maybe all sports related. I don't know, but racing certainly is just like life. I mean, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the whole deal. But there's families involved as well. Like, you're a second generation driver, and we had Justin Stone on. He was a third generation driver because his grandfather also was a racer. I don't know. I never asked your dad. Did your grandfather race at all? Or-
Not officially. He was a taxi driver.
Okay, officially, yeah.
I'm sure there was some racing going on, but I never got to meet him. But
Okay, right.
I heard that he was probably not one that was going to race around Watertown in the taxi cab.
Okay,
So
right.
Dad, I don't know where Dad got that from, but I don't think it was from him.
Yeah.
So,
Well, your dad always said that he had to thank racing from he said elsewise, he said I would have probably been behind bars most of my life. So, but yeah, but
I mean, he was. He could have done anything. Also,
Right.
He was. I mean, he was a genius. Like,
Yep.
He hit it a lot of ways. Like a lot of people would meet him and not know just how smart he really was. But
Yep.
yeah, he could have done anything.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things for sure is when the racing is going good. I mean, there's not much that could ever rival it with how good it makes you feel. So
Yes,
you know,
right.
It
Yep.
makes sense that it attracts everybody that's super competitive. That's for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's great as always. Talk to you. It's great to have you guys come on. I got to get Tim. I see if see if he picks off another dream this weekend, and I'll see if I can get him on the show.
Absolutely.
But he, he's had a pretty good year. It's that he's had the ups and downs as always, but certainly since he's got teamed up with the Briggs family there, it seems his whole attitude has changed, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a good fit
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody seems like they're on the same page, and they just need some luck. Like they same thing as ever. They get on a roll, and
Yep.
it'll be all kosher again. They were flying little spots of speed, and then some speed bumps or whatever. I'm sure he'll get it cranking again.
Yep. Yeah, I know. He said he put up. I don't know who's doing his social, but it's he put up there last week. He thought he was making headway and was coming up to the front and got involved with a jingle, and that was. But again, that's racing, that's life, and he's been through it. You all been through it all your life, so it's still great to see you guys carrying on the tradition of the McCready family. Anyway, that's for sure. And
I appreciate that.
good luck on this coming weekend. Like I say, we'll see what happens this weekend.
We'll try it again. Hopefully the rain holds off.
Like
for us and we get that show in.
Right, like your dad's. One of your dad's great friends, Jack Johnson, said, "You're only as good as your last race." So you're pretty good right now. So you're good.
Well, sometimes it is all right to rain out after a win.
Right.
I can feel good for another couple days.
Right.
Until you get humbled.
Right. All right, Jordan. Thanks again. Sorry we got to you a little late here, but hopefully we didn't keep you up too
No,
late.
all good. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you very much, man.
All right, we'll see you next Sunday. That's for sure.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
right.
We'll see you there.
Take care now.
All right, bye.
Night. All right. We did good, I think. Yeah, so we got a few more minutes, and thanks for all the comments here. Yeah, the 50-50 was almost $6,000 with a 2. Thanks, Larry. On Saturday night. I mean, those 50-50 girls, whatever. Everybody keeps thinking there's some kind of trick there, but they just work their asses off. That's all there is to it. They got regulars who buy X amount, and then they just keep adding on more and more people. It's a pretty good deal to win the 50-50 at Fonda on Saturdays, that's for sure. So quickly, this coming week we got Airborne on Thursday. Their regular 358 show and spectator races. One of the few tracks that still do it. They're in Devil's Bowl. I think Mike does. And if you've never seen a spectator race, they used to have some wild ones at Albany, Saratoga over the years. Saw some guys destroy some pretty good. I don't know how they explained it to their insurance companies, but that's on Thursday night. Spectator races at Airborne, along with their regular 358s and all their other classes. Albany, Saratoga is midget night. The Extreme Dirt Car DMA midgets for their one and only show at Albany, Saratoga. All other divisions, of course, big blocks and all kinds of sportsmen, limited, regular sportsmen, pro stocks. I haven't seen anything yet when they're going to have the rained out pro stock and limited race and 4 cylinders, I believe. Yeah, I think all 3 of those got rained out on Friday, so they'll probably spread them out in the next couple of weeks. and we'll see. I haven't seen anything about this week, so it won't. I don't know. Maybe it will be yet. Who knows? Utica Rome on Friday. The Mohawk Valley Vintage cars will be at Utica Rome for their first of 2 events, I believe they have there this year. And it's also First Responders Night at Utica. Fonda, it's a regular show with the New York State Soccer Association awards. So they will be playing bonus money to different winners and separate place pictures for their members. So if you aren't a member of the New York State Soccer Club, please, or association, please join that up. The first thing, I think Bonnie Mortensen is over in the pits. Will be able to get your membership there from Bonnie. And yeah, it's tough. Our prayers go out to Bonnie and Ron and all the Mortensons, and as well. The boys had a tough couple of weeks. Mark lost his motor a couple of weeks ago. Put the old one back in, and it was pretty fast. And then he had a pretty hard crash into the first and second turn wall on Saturday night, and did some severe damage. Luckily, he was okay. And then Brett, of course, blew his motor up. So it's been 2 motors and a pretty heavy crash over the last 2 weeks for the Mortensons. Hopefully, I know they'll bounce back. They always do, but it's tough to take when you only got 1 car. Now if you got 2 in the family, it's doubly hard. Let's see. We're at the Valley. It's a regular show. It's the JC Flack night. So the Flack family always puts up some extra bonus money. Haven't seen that listed yet, but if you're heading down the Valley, that's what to look forward to there on Saturday night. Sunday night, as we just mentioned with Jordan, the Ridge is having a 358 Dirt Series event, 50 laps, $4,000 for the winner. Usually the biggest show of the year at the Ridge, so if you haven't been there yet this year, head on up. Mother Nature's got to give us a break here. Have a decent weekend. Also on Sunday, if you're a big black person and want to travel, Orange County Fair Speedway will be holding round 2 of their Big Block Series events. It is also Nostalgia Weekend down at Orange County. I believe Saturday they're going to have a get together with all the old timers, if you call them that or whatever, the vintage racers of Orange County. It's always a big night down there, and they usually have a great turnout of old time drivers. Obviously, Brett Hearn will be there because he's running the show. Let's see. Oh, what I did forget. Yes. Oh, if you would, and I don't think it's a big figure, but people have missed, and several people asked me where the 15 of Bo Ballard has not been at Fonda for the last couple of weeks. I reached out to car owner Ken Van Wert, and he said that Bo has been suffering some health issues, and they're trying to get a handle on just exactly what it is. But he said possibly they might be back Saturday night at Fonda. We'll have to see. But you got to know, it's got to be bothersome because, hey, Lee, how you doing? Lee, Rob, whoever you are. Anyway, but anyhow, we will send prayers out for a speedy recovery and have the doctors find out what's going on with Bo Ballard. But hopefully he'll be back Saturday with that 15 car. They certainly miss him in the Pro Stock division, that's for sure. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Colby Schroeder being a substitute for Peter Britton on Friday night. Nothing wrong with Peter. He just wanted to go to his daughter's dance recital on Friday night, and so they put Colby in the car, and he ended up in 13th. I think he started 17th, 16th, 17th, something like that. So passed some cars, and I told him no pressure. This car won last week from 13th, but he says, well, I'm going to do my best, and he did. It was a great race for him as well. New Yorker there. Okay, yes. Yeah. But yeah, your boy Tyler's been doing pretty good there, Lee. Anyhow, I think we've got everything covered. Yep, I got that all. Okay. Well, I probably should. There we go. Do this. Just one more. There we go. One more thank you to all, to everyone who has commented on our award last week. I'm not, don't be confused, I'm not in the Hall of Fame. I got a Bruce Doss Award, which I'm very happy to get. But people like me don't belong in the Hall of Fame, that's for sure. That's for people who spend a lot more time and money than whatever I do. Okay, I'm not going to comment on that one. Yes, I did see that. Anyhow, I don't know where I'd wear it, but yes. So again, thanks for all the it's just been overwhelming, the number of good tidings and whatever you guys have been sending. It's really appreciated, and I want to thank everybody. And 50 years almost, pretty close to doing this, and finally got my picture in Area Auto. How about that? Okay. Thanks, Lenny. Well, actually, thanks to the Hall of Fame and the museum for presenting me that Bruce Dossel Award. Bruce is pretty important as far as the museum goes. It almost ceased to be, but he kind of gathered everything up and talked the Fonda Fair Board into getting things back at Fonda. So that's a good thing, and an honor to be receiving an award with his name on it. Anyhow, okay, I won't tell him. I will not tell him. Okay. Hopefully his luck will change. But we'll see you next week. And please get out. Mother Nature's got to cooperate here. It's been wet. It's been cold. It's been a little bit of everything. We get a couple of good nights here, and we'll pack the stands again. I know we will. So wherever you want to go this week, just go and keep it between the boards, and we'll see you at the races. Thanks for tuning in. If you missed any of it, it'll be up on Facebook here on our page, and also Facebook Live for probably at least a couple of 3 weeks or whatever. I can switch it over and put it on YouTube and have it there forever, but I may get around to doing that one of these days. Yeah. So we will see you next Monday night. Keep it between the boards, and please, we'll see you at the races, and take a friend. We need lots more people. Good night now.